how to recognise what and who the inner child really is. As human beings, we are incredibly complex, and there will be different facets that make up who we are as a person, and one of these is a part of us called the inner child. There can often be great confusion as to what the inner child is and why they are so important to our happiness and well-being. So who is the inner child? This is the part of us who is our inner voice, the childlike aspect of who we are as an adult that lives in our unconscious mind and inhabits our thoughts. The inner child is not the same as intuition and should not be confused as such, as intuition is an in-depth gut feeling. The inner child is the voice that can sometimes struggle to be heard and is conceived from childhood and often seen as a sub-personality to who we are as an adult. If we are ever faced with difficulty or a challenging situation, our adult self may choose to retreat, and yet the inner child will often take over as the voice of reason. Therefore, this inner part of us is able to reflect all of our life experiences, both past and present, which of course will include all of our suppressed childhood emotions, in addition to the childlike qualities as adults we still possess, such as playfulness, innocence, and creativity. Depending on the upbringing you had, will determine the relationship that you are able to forge with your inner child. If your caregivers were nurturing and made you feel loved, valued and safe, which are all essential values for children to feel so they may become confident within themselves, it is likely that your self-esteem is high and the relationship you have internally is positive. However, if your experience growing up was not so positive, it will be likely that the inner child has become fragmented and healing will need to be done to repair the damage incurred previously. So as an adult, we are then able to form healthy and loving relationships with ourselves and others. Perhaps you had a very strict upbringing with controlling parents, where you felt you did not have a voice, or it is possible that your childhood was violent, either in what you personally experienced or what you witnessed, both of which will of course have devastating effects. It is not only our parents or caregivers that will have a huge impact on our inner child, but also those who had some degree of responsibility, such as teachers or other family members who we were taught to listen to and do as we were told, even if we didn't always agree. Of course, there is a huge difference between as a parent setting healthy boundaries for your child so they can learn to not only develop a loving, healthy attitude towards themselves and others, but consciously or unconsciously subjecting a child to emotional or physical abuse. This could be something that unconsciously as an adult you may feel is the correct thing to say because your intention is to somehow protect or try to toughen up your inner child with comments such as "toughen up," "big boys don't cry," or "don't try to do that, you are not clever enough." And so as a result the child starts to lose confidence and trust within their abilities, and this conditioning will then have a knock-on effect because as an adult the inner child will find it difficult to form emotional attachments with others because of a lack of trust and connection within themselves. Therefore, learning to recognise and listen to your inner child is extremely important, so you can discover and start to heal any unresolved issues as an adult you may be facing from your childhood, and in doing so learn some ways in which you can discover times to become connected to your inner child, helping you to become more creative and playful in your everyday life, but in the process also enabling you to connect within and rediscover your personal sense of self-esteem and respect for yourself as an adult.